Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello and welcome back to another riveting, exciting episode of Coffee and Cuddles. I'm Craig, aka Ed Coffee, and by my side, as always, is the effervescent, ebullient Cuddles, aka AnnaMarie.
Hey there.
All right. As some of you may or may not know, and I'm stealing words from my partner here. Anna and I live in Southern California now. We are far away. We're far away enough from the fires that it's not a danger to us, but it's still going to affect our daily lives a little bit. I'm grabbing this from MSN, so take this with a
grain of salt.
A grain of salt. Thank you. It's from ABC News. It's a California Live fire update. At least 16 people are believed to be dead, and more than a dozen others remain unaccounted for as multiple fires fueled by severe drought conditions and strong Santa Ana winds. And we won't mention government mismanagement at all. We'll gloss over that because, as we know, this is all global warming. Ha!
So the fires are continuing to rage. Now, a lot of news stations are reporting it as Southern California, and technically where Coffee and I are located, that is also Southern California. But for those of you unfamiliar with the state, we didn't want you to think that all of Southern California was on fire. So
this is all pretty much mostly northwest and northeast of LA, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So as Coffee just mentioned, now that I've cut into what he was saying, so it is at least 16 people have perished, although there are still many more people that we can't account for yet. We have thousands of firefighters, not only from California. I know the other day, where did I say it was? Utah was sending people. We have had some of our own teams from right here where we live also heading out there.
We're at the bottom end of LA County. Right next to us is Orange County. So for those of you that aren't familiar with California, LA County is huge. And apparently LA, and when they say LA, I think they're including all of LA County, has more population than some states do.
Mm-hmm.
We have millions of people here in LA County, don't we?
Right. And the city of Los Angeles itself is, I think the population is 3 million. Give or take. I'm not 100%. I'm going to have the research department double check on that. But so anyway, we just wanted to let you know that we are okay, but we do have. I was pretty good. It's 3.8 million. Hey, all right, go Anna. We do have one ask though. Please keep everyone who's been affected by the fires in your thoughts and your prayers, as well as the men and women who are tirelessly working to try to get these fires under control, as well as the support crews who are trying to keep the firefighters hydrated and fed so that they can do their job. Because I got to tell you, the bravery that these people are showing going into this situation, it's uncanny. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I get nervous lighting birthday candles.
Most people are familiar with other firefighting companies like Chicago or New York. And while those both have their unique challenges, the firefighters here have to not only be able to deal with urban and suburban fires, but there's also training for all these wildfires. But I think that's a misnomer because lately a lot of these fires are not wild. They're purposely started so you have to deal with burning brush and trees and everything else. So while I'm not dinging any other fire companies anywhere else in the country or anywhere else in the world, my favorite people are always going to be New York firefighters. That's where I grew up, or close to where I grew up. That's what I'm used to. Same thing with NYPD. That's what I know. But since moving here, I've never seen more dedicated or better trained firefighting personnel. And to parrot what my co-host said, hats off to all the brave men and women of the LA fire companies that are dealing with this every day. And just a quick aside, the population of LA County, all inclusive, is 9,663,345 as of July of last year, or 23. That's a lot of people, and the livable areas of LA County are not really that big because, like I said, you have mountains, you have forests, you have not really deserts, but desert-like conditions. And then you have beaches and you have uninhabitable areas. So it's a lot of people shoehorned into not a lot of livable space. So enough about that. We just want you to be aware of what's going on out here. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers. And if you decide to donate, make sure it's a reputable company or organization, because unfortunately there are a lot of less than scrupulous people out there that will take advantage of any natural disaster that they can and put the money in their own pocket. So just beware and be cautious of where you're sending your money and your donated items.
And you know what? If you do want to make monetary donations and you're not sure, where to send it, you can always contact Coffee or myself, and we can definitely let you know where monetary donations could help the most. And you know what? If any monetary donations come our way, we will definitely let you know where we are sending it to, because anything that we receive monetary wise, we're not keeping it. If we receive donations and it's tagged, please send this, where it needs to go to help with the wildfires, we 100% will send it. And not only that, but we'll reach out to you and let you know and show you where that money's gone.
We'll definitely show the receipts.
Absolutely. So I was just on Substack right now doing my blog, which I really want to do it more often, but I think right now, I'm doing it like once a week.
Yeah.
So
first of all, not congratulations, but I'm proud of you for the consistency and the commitment, because as someone who writes almost daily in blogs and social media and everywhere, it's a challenge and it's a job. It really is, to come up with the ideas and write about the ideas and make it interesting and, make it so people want to read it. It's not easy.
Yeah. And I've tried blogging once before, and I don't know if I just wasn't sure of what I was doing or I was stressed out from work, but it didn't really seem to happen. And I felt like I had left Coffee down, and I felt horrible about it. So when he brought it up again about trying it on Substack, I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I can do better.
Absolutely.
So, thank you. So how would they find my blog if they're?
I will. It's the show.
Can we put it in the show notes?
It's definitely it will be in the show notes, because I have.
Oh, cool.
I have the link from last week's episode in there, so that will be an ongoing thing. You can find us on Substack. You can follow us on. We have an Instagram account. We have a Facebook page. We're everywhere. We're on. I'm having problems with Twitter/X. I tried to create an account and it said I did something wrong, and I don't know what I did because I never posted. So I will try to update one of my other Twitter accounts and make it for us. So we're everywhere, man.
All right.
We're even on YouTube.
We are?
Our podcast gets broadcasted to YouTube everywhere.
Sweet. All right. So let me tell you what I titled my blog this week. My blog this week is titled Weathering the Storm. Storm is in quotation marks. And the reason why I wrote it was because I'm a people watcher, and I'm always listening to conversations, watching how people are reacting. I watched a lot of different reels via Facebook and a lot of different social media accounts. I don't follow a lot of people, but there are a lot of people whose videos keep popping up, so I keep watching them. And one of the things that caught my attention, I think it's always caught my attention, but more so last year, it really got to me how much anger I am seeing. And I'm seeing it with adults. I am seeing it in children. And I always let the students that I teach know that what they see adults doing and the anger that we're exhibiting and the way that we're treating others with our words, with our actions is not something they should aspire to and not something they should imitate. In fact, I don't even like my students to use the word hate. Not because it's a bad word, not because it's a swear word or a curse word, but simply because it is so powerful. And it makes me cry when I see a 7 or 8-year-old say, I hate, and then whatever it is.
Right. I don't know that they necessarily hate. I think they learn that word from an adult, parent, grandparent, whoever, seeing it on TV. So I don't know that children that age necessarily understand the power behind it.
I don't think they do either.
And
so
I can see some of you out there rolling your eyes and saying it's just a word. No, it's not. Hate in its purest form and purest context has a lot of power behind it. It's such a powerful emotion when you say, I hate you, or I really hate this or that. And you're not just saying hate because you can't think of a different word. I try to not use the word hate. I will say I dislike, or I'm really not fond of, or whatever, but very rarely do I use the words hate because I don't want to have that negative connotation behind it.
I know I'm guilty of using it. And I tell my students that it is okay not to like something or not to be fond of something, but I think a lot of times, a lot of big events throughout history probably wouldn't have gotten so bad if the word hate somehow had not gotten involved. And this is not a history lesson by any means, and I'm not going to go down that road. If you're ever curious of where I see it throughout history, feel free to email me. I'd be glad to have a chat with you. No, it is nothing political before anybody goes, ooh, she's going to get political. No. So it's just a very powerful word that I prefer students don't use, because one day they are going to be the ones in charge of this planet. And if they can understand it now, how strong it is, then when they are the world leaders, hopefully it'll be a much better place. So here's what I think would be good for us to really be more mindful of. When you get angry with a friend or a family member or just some random person, there's a couple things I think we should all try. And the first one is catch your breath. Just stop your words and catch your breath. Take a deep, slow breath in through your nose and blow it out. Because I know when I take a moment and I catch my breath and I take a slow, deep, relaxing breath, it actually kind of relaxes me and calms me down.
What do you always tell me? Smell the...
Breathe in through your nose, smell the cake, and then blow gently out of your mouth and put out the birthday candles.
That's much better than the Joey Tribbiani school of acting. Smell the fart. Yours is much more pleasant. Anyway.
So thank you for the suggestion. I know a couple of people were probably having a sip of coffee right then and probably just spit it out all over themselves. Apologies that happened.
The views expressed by coffee are not necessarily those of the entire show.
So now you've taken a breath, and you've relaxed. And the next thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, why am I mad? Because if you can name what you're angry about, that will make the situation de-escalate a lot quicker, because it may not be that current situation that has you angry. Something that's got you angry in the moment could have been from something that happened to you the day before or earlier in the day, or just some deep-seated thing that you didn't even realize was still bugging you until this other party got your anger up. So if you can name why you're angry, that is a good thing. I think a lot of people, when they get angry, they can't name it because they're not asking themselves why they're angry. They're just angry, and they are just going to get mad at the other person for whatever it may be. So let's try asking ourselves why. Now, you've taken a breath. You've named what you're mad about. Another good thing to do is take a step back. Walk away. Now, use your words. Oh, did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Apologies. I didn't mean to sound like a parent right then. I guess I kind of did a little bit. I used my teacher voice. So take a moment. I'm waiting to see if Coffee's going to chuckle. There it goes. Take a moment and walk away. Just look at the other person, say, I need to catch my breath. I need to just step away for a moment, relax myself, and then I can have a conversation with you. Because this lets the person know that you do want to resolve the issue, but you're not ready to speak on it right then. And I try to get kids to do this too. It's not always very successful, but kids are very quick when they're angry. And I try to get them to, step away, relax, and then you're able to talk. And something else that's really important is listening ears. Capital Listen. Listen.
I'm sorry, what?
Thanks.
Oh.
Listening ears.
Oh,
These two things on the sides of your head.
Oh, I thought you said glistening, and I was confused.
Let me see. Oh, very good. You clean the backs. Yes, those are glistening.
No potatoes.
No potatoes. Are very nice and clean.
Do people still say that? Parents used to always say that. You got to clean your ears so you don't have
No, I
potatoes
usually
in
tell
there.
them to get the coconuts out of their ears, but that's when they're not listening.
Okay.
So listening ears. When people are angry, that's something that somehow switches off, and then they're not listening. So here's how, if you and I, dear listener, we're having an argument, here's how I know that you're listening to me. You're going to repeat what you hear me saying. What I heard you say was, and then you're going to say back to me what I've just said to you, because that's going to show me that you're really trying to understand me in that moment and that you are truly listening to what I'm saying.
I said, so what I hear you saying is.
Yes, exactly. Just like that. Okay. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, I can do this. I can use my I statements. Oh, I statements, very important. Never in an argument say you did this and you said that, because all that's happening is you're throwing blame on the other person and you're going to make them madder like a wildfire in LA. But if you're using I statements, then it brings down the intensity of the argument. Now, I know what you're thinking, and I know you're thinking, okay, this is good, and I'm going to win this fight. Nope. Let's leave winning to things like Angels baseball. Have I ever mentioned I'm an Angels fan? I am. That is my team. Has been since I was a kid. Apologies to the Dodgers fans, but I got to stick with my Angels. But let's leave the winning to sports teams or, a a really fun game of Scrabble. Let's leave the wins there, because in an argument, it's not about winning. It's about finding common ground or a compromise, finding a solution, how to bring this argument to a calm, peaceful end. It's not about winning. There's no winners in an argument. Now, once this has all happened and you've found that compromise and that common ground, think about it. Think about what's just happened and what could you do in the future to better yourself so that maybe you won't be quick to anger. Not easy. I know. I see some of you sitting there kind of giving me that, yeah, what's she talking about? I'm guilty of this. I don't do it, and I really should, because in 2025, in any year, it is always better to smile than it is to frown. Am I right or am I right? It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Can you think about that for a minute? I want you to frown. Are you frowning? Cuddles is frowning. I'm Cuddles. Coffee is frowning. But think about all the muscles you are using to pull your face down to frown. That's a lot of muscles, and that's a lot of, that's painful. It's way better to smile. And that's what I think 2025 needs a lot more of. A lot more smiles than frowns. Now, this is just my 2 cents worth. Please, take any of it, some of it, hopefully some of it. I don't want anyone to take none of it, but just take some of it. I am by no means telling you what to do. I don't ever want you thinking that. I just want us to be better versions of ourselves. I feel like I've just been on and on and on. I've given you no room to talk. I feel bad about that.
I'm fine with this. You had a destination in mind. You were in the driver's seat, and I saw absolutely no reason to detour you or send you off the road as we often like to do. Good,
Mm-hmm.
You stayed on the road this time.
All right, woohoo!
Good job. Gotta love
it. But I didn't want you to feel like you couldn't, jump in there. So let me ask you, is there anything when it comes to dealing with anger or to de-escalate it that I'm missing?
No, my favorite thing is to walk away, or you could say, I'm not in the emotional space to deal with this right now. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
I don't have the mental energy or whatever. Because you have to be in the right mindset to argue. I know that sounds kind of weird, but to have it, not even to argue, but to have a genuine conversation, you have to be in the right mindset to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be distracted. You can't be angry at the world. You can't be all these things. You have to be emotionally available and a little bit vulnerable to put yourself in that position to where you may find out that you weren't right about what you've done. And I've mentioned this before. I've gone to my friends, in this case, my in-world, second my family. And I thought I was righteously, indignant. I was entitled to what I was feeling. And it turns out in hindsight that I wasn't. So hat in hand, I went to my family. I said, look, I screwed up. It's entirely on me. I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. And they did. And it's hard for a lot of people to do. A lot of people can't put themselves in that position where they can say, sorry, my fault. It's always all, I did this because you made me, or
see, there's that you statement.
Because my ex was famous for, well, because you did this, I did that, which is never a valid argument. It's never a valid reason. I know in the moment it may seem like you're justified for doing it, but you're really not. It's never a good way to come to a discussion. Well, because you should never enter into it.
Mm-hmm. So very true.
That I'm sorry you made me feel that way.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times when we're angry, we don't think about the apology part because we're not focused on finding a solution, finding common ground, finding compromise. What we want is we want the win.
Absolutely.
So we need to take that out of there. This isn't a baseball game. There's no winners in an argument.
I think that's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is just our 2 cents worth. Your mileage may vary. We love you all, and God bless. Anything else?
No. See you next week.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.